I'm not opposed to signing a deal, but it would most definitely be a partnership. Um, I'm not as pressed about deals anymore because I've been up in all these places. The same stories that everybody else has. When I was watching the Kanye documentary and I seen him go up in the labels,
Yeah.
and the way he was treated, it's no different than anybody else. I've walked in every label and been looked over,
Right.
knowing that I had something inside of me that
You couldn't find anywhere else.
yeah,
Right.
you know, not only that, but like I do good business. So it was like more so like a slap in my face that people weren't really trying hard enough to, and you know, I can't be at fault. Maybe I could have done a better job of expressing or selling myself, but like it was a slap in my face every single time that people just they weren't really open to to the fact that I'm more than even just music. Like how many people walking in these buildings can say that that their business makes over six figures? You know what I'm saying?
Very
I'm a
few.
businessman.
Right.
You know, when I'm walking in, I'm not just
This is what
an
I want.
artist.
Talk it.
I am a businessman. I do business.
Yeah.
These people that walk in there don't even know what business is.
Well, it's the big show. The Black Idea Guy podcast is a new business and culture platform created to serve as a compass with an ultimate goal of helping talented and urbanly influenced creatives get potentially disruptive, new ideas, thinking, and perspectives off the ground, out, and into the world. Acronymed as the Big Show. Well, it's the Big Show. This is not an interview, but an exchange, which we hope will leave all listeners with realized game, perspective, inspiration, ideas, and insights that drive results. The Black Idea Guy podcast comes firsthand from a former athlete turned innovator, a multi-potentialite, creative, and entrepreneurial marketing mastermind, the Black Idea Guy himself, Mick Allen Brown, and a range of dynamic guest features, each who are extremely gifted and talented within their own right. All right, so today I have the privilege of exchanging, right? Not interviewing, but exchanging with my boy, Jerry Green.
Good,
you know what I'm saying? Like, we here. Hold on, let me turn you up a little bit.
What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
You coming over? Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, this is my interview voice.
This is the interview voice?
My interview voice.
This is an exchange. So you got to get in your exchange bag, you know what I'm saying? If you need to, you could adjust if you need to,
I'm
so
solid.
I can make sure.
Good.
All right. So what's crazy is the way the show format starts, right? First thing we do on the show is we have to dap up, right? Many times people will like go like this, but dapping on this show is actually with Dap Collectors hand sanitizer. So it's only fitting, it's only right.
My brother.
You know what I mean? Shameless plug. Shout out to Dap, man. We're actually growing into being more of a wholesale supply company, right? So I'm in the business now of trying to take people that have ideas for products that we can supply and be their distributor, be their wholesaler, right? So someone else can have their own DAP. It could be called Happy Hands. It could be called whatever, you know what I mean? So we can grow into other ways, right? Expand the kitchen for these people to cook up. Okay. So with that being said, I kind of want to just give some background, right? It's best that although I may know the guests and I may know the friends and the colleagues that I bring on the show, a lot of my audience may not. So Jerry Green, go way back, former athlete, converted into a musician and this artistically gifted talent. You're like, I'm not going to say you're genre specific, but
Definitely
you span different genres, right? And now I think why I'm most intrigued and why I'm most excited to bring you on the platform is because now you're an owner, right? You're not only just an artist in the space in which you do your thing and you explore your craft and your talent, but you have ownership, equity, stake in something that I think a lot of artists are appreciative of, and you own Greenhouse Recording Studio. Okay, so I mean, just to start there, right?
So basically, I didn't really have to transition from being an athlete to music. Music was always a part of my life, just like basketball was always a part of my life. They was one and the same. I grew up in the church, so I played the drums.
That's facts.
Let's
do it.
Sang in the choir, was in marching band, was in middle school band.
Okay.
Even while I was at St. Pat's, I was leaving to go to Elizabeth High School to do marching band. So
I was just telling production manager LaTroy over there that, like, yo, I played a lot of brass instruments when I was coming up. Like, I played the trombone, tuba, baritone. I played the trumpet, cornet. And, like, the thing about playing music young, it really, like, you don't lose your ear for music. Like, it's hard to, like, not have taste in good music when you grow up, listen to good music when you're young.
Absolutely.
So now, let me say, so obviously we're on the Black Idea Guy podcast. I view you as a Black Idea Guy. How do you think music, right? Like the ideas around music, crafting music, right? What kind of brain do you have to get into creating the music that you make as an idea guy?
Well, it's always been really easy to me. I was taught by, the musicians at my church.
Hold on, let me stop you too. Keep the thought, but this is not a humble space.
I've transitioned from being an arrogant individual
to
an at peace, humble individual. So you ain't gonna get much out of me unless it's on a record. I've done enough to be comfortable. But
for the Black Idea Guy podcast, for the big show,
you ain't gonna get it.
As best as you can, give it to the people. Need to hear this. You know what I'm saying? It's not for me. I get it. I know what it's about. It's for them. You're doing them a disservice. Holding back, please.
I'm not holding back. I'm just being who I am at this point in my life, bro. I done did it. I done been there. I done that. You know what I'm saying?
What have you done?
Everything. I've done everything, bro. Like, it's really nothing to really be getting loud about no more. Like, when I go places, the energy is given.
Yeah.
We know. We know what type time it is, and that's enough for me. Like, I don't need to be this person anymore.
Do you think that social media culture creates a space now where people feel as though they have to overindulge on, like, reminding people of who you are and, like, reminding people of, like, what you're doing and what do you think that culture? How do you sit into that culture?
I deal with that even today. Like, just seeing people on social media that haven't necessarily put in as much time as I have in certain things.
How long you been doing this?
Since I was making music, recording music since I was 15.
So well over half your life.
Well over half my life. 10,000 hours times 5.
Right. Right. Facts.
But just living, breathing music since I was about 5 years old. Since I was about 5 years old.
And I was instilling in you through, the church.
Through church, through elementary school. I had great teachers, Barbara Perrano, Kenneth Schuster, my band teacher, my choir teacher. They taught me how to evoke emotion through like notes and melodies and major and minor chords. And so I would just be in band and it was like almost catching like the Holy Ghost type shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just certain chords. It's certain chords that you hear at certain moments in songs that make you feel a certain kind of way. So that's what taught me how to create music. Trying to evoke the emotions that I felt when I was a kid, when I was in school, or when I was in choir at church, and I was singing these songs like Kurt Franklin records, like It's Over Now, or Smile, or whatever record. Just like you hear these songs, and it's these special parts in these songs. It's just like, damn, when I'm making music, I have to have these certain emotions because I know people are gonna resonate with these sounds and these drums and these words and these notes and melodies and stuff like that.
That's heavy. It's heavy because I talk a lot on this show about tugging on people's emotional strings, right? Like many times. So I have this, extensive advertising marketing background, right? And people don't. You may or may not realize, but when it comes to marketing and advertising, it's like it's communication. It's mass communication. So in order to reach people, you have to kind of come down to people's levels or rise to their occasion or rise to where people are, right? You kind of have to understand people at a different level. So I think there's a connectivity between the spaces that I maneuver in and the space that you maneuver in because we're both trying to evoke emotion, right? But the thing is, there is a manipulation that goes within that, right? Some people evoke emotion, and I mean, I'm sure everybody makes different music. Everybody makes different marketing tactics, whatever. Some of them may be malicious in ways, right? Some people may be making music that's like detrimental to society. Absolutely. And they may not know it, right?
They don't know it. A lot of them don't know it.
A lot of them don't know it. So have you ever had to produce? Because not only are you a songwriter, singer, rapper, but you also produce too. So now you're engineer as well. Like you.
I mean, we could get into that, but I was forced into engineering because I didn't have money to pay for an engineer.
Facts.
I didn't have money to get beats, so I had to produce. Everything I ever had to do is because I didn't have it. I had to learn how to do it. I had to learn how to make, in your words.
That's how we do.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the greats tend to overcome those struggles to be able to get into their bag and do what they do. So I mean, that's just a part of your journey.
Yeah.
So now, as a forced engineer, you've worked with a range of different artists, right? Right, spanning different genres. So now, let's say you're working with.
I think that title for that context might be wrong. We might need to change engineer because I'm not engineering for nobody.
Okay.
That's almost like, I don't know why that's disrespectful to me.
Oh, no, get in your bag.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm not about to be sitting at a table and press and record for just anybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta really, really like you or respect you or care about what you got going on and sit at a table when that's what I do.
Right.
And tolerate the music that you're making.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So producing, songwriting, rapping with, singing hooks for, and then you can continue your point. I'm sorry. Okay. I didn't mean it. I'm not trying to.
I like it. This is the energy. This is the energy all day. So, okay. So maybe I'll retract the question I was going to ask. Because
you can ask it, just change it from engineering to.
So as you're composing, as you're collaborating with, as you're composing, as you're, curating a sound, and you have to work with an artist that you may feel is projecting a message that could be malicious. How do you feel in those moments? Right? Like,
I've never worked with nobody that I felt was making malicious music. That's not even what I'm into. Like, if I don't like you, or if I don't like the music you making, or I was gonna say it's not making me money, but that's kind of being a sellout. If I don't like you, or I'm not into it, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
So you have the luxury of picking the projects that you work on
right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, would you want to have that consistently through your career?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, right?
But some people you just
creative
don't know
control.
Some people you don't know what their creative space is. Like, imagine being called by Kanye to do Jesus.
Right.
Or being called by Kanye to do Jesus is King album. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know what you're walking into, so you kind of have to have discernment. You got to ask questions, but I mean, it just really depends on the circumstance.
So now, in that, right, as you grow, we're definitely going to get to Greenhouse, right? We're going to get to the business behind Greenhouse and that whole thing developing. But like, when it comes to even still in the point of defining who you are for the listeners, right? Like, a career defining moments, right? I think that's something that's interesting. I think that really will give people like a snapshot as to, okay, who's sitting right here, right? Like, what's going on, right? Like, what was a defining moment, right? Or moments that you could point back to say, like, yo, like, this is who you're listening to right now.
You mean on the podcast?
Not on this pod, like,
no,
in your
I'm talking
career.
About, like, to tell people, like, this is who's
sitting here right now.
It's been so many, man. Just respect from my peers, respect from people that I look up to. But I would say I got a couple. I would say when Jalil Beats was scorching hot, like when he was the #1 producer, like everybody needed a Jalil beat. He kind of validated that I had some shit. You know,
would you call it a cosign? You got the cosign.
It was definitely a cosign. Or when Fat Man Scoop, who's a Grammy Award winning artist,
Facts.
Basically got on an interview and
name dropped the shit out of
and name dropped me and was just like, Jerry Green is that guy. Like, he's just one moment away. He's one step away. He's a combination of X, Y, and Z. People I don't want to name because I don't like comparison. But if you heard the name, you would be like, oh shit. Yeah. And so he's a combination of this person, but better. That's somebody who's won Grammys. That's somebody who's respected by everybody. He's worked with Missy, who's really like a kingpin. Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
You know, Jay-Z, he's worked with all these people. So for him to co-sign me and tell people that I'm next, and then send me the interview, like, yo, I shouted you out. I just want you to know that I really love your stuff.
Right.
Or, you know, people in the music business like Young Sav, who's the vice president at
Was he a MMG?
Well, he was the vice president of MMG,
Okay.
but now he just became the vice president of something at some label, big label. Shout out to Sav. When he, you know, reached out and told me that, you know, he wanted to represent me as far as management. Like, these things are like milestones in my career because I did it out of love for so long. So to be recognized by people who get paid in this world as having the potential to be like a star,
right?
You know, that means everything to me. That means more than money. That means that's just like, that type of stuff can make me cry. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been doing this for fun since I was a child. So to get respect, that's all it is for me.
And I mean, many times, you know, there's many artists that I've heard kind of portray this message. They say that we do this, we just want to be loved, right? As musicians, as artists, as creatives, as entrepreneurs, we really just want people to understand how we see the world and how we think.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? Because emotion can be misunderstood, right? You could be looked at, you could be walking around the earth and doing all these things, and people could literally not know where it's coming from, right? And I think that's why this platform for me was so important, because I'm an expressive individual. You're an expressive individual. The people that come on the show are very expressive, and many people that are watching this may not know the origin. They may not know like where we're channeling these emotions from to be able to push this art out, to be able to push this business idea out into the world. So, I mean, I think when we get back into the anchor points, like just knowing that these things are possible, knowing that all of the career defining moments, like when you were just creating for the fun, like obviously you had the utmost self-confidence.
Through the roof.
You had to.
Even when I was trash.
Right. So now was there anything that really tested your confidence?
Hell yeah. Growing pains, man.
Like getting into ciphers with people, or like going into the studio with people, producing for people?
No. I would say just self-growing pains. Like I try not to pay attention to what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
But I'm like my worst critic. So, you know, just feeling like I'm not where I need to be is enough to humble me. You know, to the point where I'll be disappointed and I'll be in a rut. So I just feel like the growing pains of putting hours and hours into something and still not being satisfied is enough for me. That process, that growing process is just like, it's a bitch, man.
Is it fair to say that though, right? And I think this is, as a Black idea guy, I think I suffer from this as well. Like, do you think you will ever really be satisfied?
I think so.
At what point? What does that look like?
Damn, I don't know.
You don't know, yo.
I don't know.
You don't know, yo. I mean, I think at some point it's sort of like satisfaction is forced upon us by like life will humble us at some point, right? It's like life will eventually, you know, the battery. I mean, the motor may keep running, but the battery just has to die at some point. The battery eventually needs to be recharged. So I think maybe the satisfaction that we're going after, the satisfaction that we're chasing, that we're trying to pull down, even though at every level, right? You've had career defining moments. Like I've had career defining moments, but it's like, yo, like, all right, cool. Once you know that you could do it, it's like, all right, I'm still looking up at what I haven't done.
Right.
So I really feel like, you know, guys that sit in our positions, nothing's ever enough. Fair?
I can see that. Yeah, that's very fair.
Like, I mean, so how do you combat that? Like, how do you live comfortably with that? How do you just like, you know, how do you maneuver with that?
That's out of your control. You just got to keep putting the work in, day in and day out. What I've learned is to really pat myself on the back and really celebrate my wins, which I never really did. I never really considered wins. Like, it's always more work to do. So what I started doing was just clapping for myself. And acknowledging it and taking sabbaticals. And really just chilling after a win. Like, yo, you just got a big W. You need to go to LA for a week.
Right.
You need to go to Cancun for a week. You need to, you need to celebrate yourself.
Right.
Shit like that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, damn, that's therapy. That is the therapy, and yo, this show is therapy for me, bro. Like the weeks that I be having are nuts, insane. But when I sit on this microphone and I talk to people like yourself, it's really just like, it's so clearing, it's so freeing in the mind. And you know, of course, those getaways, I have something now where I've literally employed this into my life where, you know, being from Jersey, being from up north, like colder in the winter or whatever. So January is always cold. So I say I'm gonna start the year in the mud and end it near the water. So I always take a trip in December, like always. I'm somewhere near the ocean, somewhere tropical, somewhere warm, just doing what I got to do. And that's like something that I want to instill and make sure that it's going to be a pillar in my life. So, so Black I Dig Out podcast family, in December, y'all might miss a week or two because I'm gonna be somewhere. I'm on somebody's beach,
Facts.
My toes in the sand somewhere. Like
Facts.
This is what it is, you know, creating those standards for life. So yo, man, today is Sunday, June 12th, right? And today is actually Summer Jam. I mean, yeah,
Nigga, segues is crazy.
it's nuts, right? Yo, I'm nice with this shit, right? Give that me up.
Nice. I like that.
So, yeah, man, it being Summer Jam is an interesting day because, yo, I like, in my mind, I mean, I would love to see the headline list come out, right? I would love to see the promotions come out and all the lists, all the names that they get smaller down the line. I would love to see Jerry Green on there. I would love to. Why haven't we?
Damn. A lot of reasons, bro. Like musically, I haven't been consistent.
So okay.
Musically,
so you're taking ownership of that.
Oh yeah, for
okay.
sure.
We like that. We like that here. We like that here.
Musically, I haven't been consistent. Other things have presented themselves, like as far as, you know, the studio,
right,
business opportunities, real estate. A lot of other things have happened in my life since I dropped my last project. So, you know, we talked about this off air. You need teammates.
Absolutely.
I've been doing all this by myself, you know, built a studio by myself, in real estate by myself. But now I got two homies in it with me, but doing music by myself, making beats for myself, mixing it by myself, recording it by myself. You know what I'm saying? All this shit takes time. So, and we only getting older. So it's like things happen, life happens. And I've been doing this, like I said, since I was about 5 years old. Yeah. So new passions grow. Right. Not saying that music is still not my number one passion. It's just like, I want to do other shit, bro. I've allocated 10,000
plus hours.
Yeah. I've done this 10,000 hours. I want to do other things. I like other things. Right. You know,
and it's okay to like other things too, for the audience and people out there.
And when y'all get the music, y'all gonna appreciate it because I got other shit to talk about. Right. I got other experiences now. Right. You know, I used to hear Ryan Leslie in every interview. They would ask this guy when he's gonna drop music, and I would be mad as hell at his responses because it sounded like we was never gonna get music from him, and we still haven't gotten music from him. But the older I get, the more I understand why. There's more to a human being than just one thing. Right. There's more to life than just living for one thing. But when I get back to that one thing that everybody loves, y'all gonna love it.
Oh, they're gonna love it.
Y'all gonna love it. Trust. Y'all gonna love it because that's still my main thing. I think about it every single day. But to answer your question, you haven't seen me at Summer Jam yet because the run that I'm about to go on now, you're gonna see me there.
It's gonna land you there.
You're gonna get me. You're gonna see me there.
So although we may not see you at Summer Jam, I mean you work with a lot of different artists. You have a wide variety of talents, and I think some of your talents are on Summer Jam's bill. Particularly like Lady London, right? I've been seeing her promo coming out, and like, what's it like working with a budding like female talent like that?
She's amazing, man. I appreciate the friendship that we are building more than anything. Like, music aside, like, we really getting to know each other as just human beings and why we do what we do as far as music and what makes us tick and what inspires us. So first and foremost, before we even get into like the work, just her as a person, I really actually rock with her as a person. Word. Because I identify with a lot of the same things that she's going through right now, and she identifies with a lot of the things that I go through. So, you know,
on a human level, on a human level.
Yeah. And she's a kind-hearted person. To get on the music convo, she's working on an album, and she brought everybody that she respects to Atlanta, you know, on her dime to work on her project. And her project is crazy. Like it's crazy. And just, you know, it was a family atmosphere. As soon as I land, she got the studio in the kitchen. She had already been at the studio in Atlanta, the main studio, all day. As soon as I land, I get to the crib, it's already a setup in the kitchen. We just picked up right from where she left off, and we stayed up till about 5 a.m. the first night. Then we get up, we eat, we talk. She's listening to gospel music. You know, I come from the church, so that off rip, I'm like, I
the
rock
heart
with
is
this.
there.
You know what I'm saying? I love
the
this.
energy's there.
We go to the studio. We at the studio all night. We go smoke hookah. We back at the crib working on more music till 6 a.m. Like, it was just a beautiful thing, and she's just got all the people that she trusts around her, and it was a lot of synergy. It was dope. And she's came to Greenhouse and recorded. She's just a dope ass person, man. And I got a lot of respect for her.
That's fire, yo. Congrats to everything she's doing, and like congrats.
And she about to crush it today at Summer Jam.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we're here. Hopefully, this is going to be a clip that, you know, that goes out on the internet, and she'll see the gratitude, feel the energy, and hopefully she comment. And I mean, follow the Black I Dig I Pod, all that energy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, outside of that, right? Who has stopped through? So Greenhouse, right? Greenhouse. You're Jerry Green. Greenhouse. Good branding. I like branding.
Yeah.
I'm big on branding.
Greenhouse.
Greenhouse.
It was going to be called the Music Factory.
Music Factory.
It was going to be called Hit House. I had so many different names, but then everybody was like, bro, why not Greenhouse? I'm lost. Like, you already got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So
absolutely. It literally named itself. So now the process, so you built a studio from ground up. Ground up. Like, it wasn't like, you know, this was here kind of like laid out. It was like, nah, like you talking about like nailed to the wood, like beam structure, like insulation, like soundproofing, like you built it ground up, whole floor. Like, how long was the process?
Now this right here is a conversation that I'm loving that we about to have, because this is really gonna help everybody. Anybody who wants to start something, anybody who wants to build something. This is what I'm here for. You know, you talked about, you know, me popping my shit. That's not what this next phase of my life is about. This next phase of my life is about, you know, helping
growth elevation,
and helping everybody, and anybody who has questions, I got answers, because nobody had answers for me. Like I said, I had to do it by myself.
Right.
So this next phase is about helping and not worrying about getting anything in return, because that's in God's hands. You know what I'm saying? So this conversation is about to be a good one. But you want to know about the process?
Preface it right here. Were you always recording in studio settings? Like in
I was, you know how
I know. If for my audience, right? I know, but I have to deplete myself of the knowledge that I have, because my audience needs to know where this originates at. Right.
So God bless my brother Jeffrey Oakley, aka J Loot. He passed away some years ago, tragically, but we came up in this together. Me and Jeff, we just came up together. He had a makeshift studio in his garage, and after practice or after school, I would walk to his house, and we would be in the garage making music all day, all night. Then I would go home, get some rest, go to practice, and do the same thing all over again. So that was the first one. Then I built a little makeshift studio in my basement. In between building the studio in my basement, I was up in my attic, burning the fuck up, 90 degrees in the fucking attic, bro, sweating bullets. Like, only a few people got to go up there. Like, Chase was up there.
C Plum.
Jeff was up there. My man Paris was up there. My man Dexter was up there.
Yep.
Like, they really, and it was so tight, bro. Like, when I say tight, like, it was on the angle, because, you know, the roof is like this. So it was like this, you know what I'm saying? So only 2 people could be up in there. So, you know, they would sit and I would be there and I would record myself. And those was some of the weakest conditions I've ever recorded in, bro. But it made me appreciate just making music.
So you grew from literally like, you know, like the basement.
The basement, like everybody else, the basement.
Yep. And
everybody wants to make it out of the basement, though. You don't want to be X years old still rapping in the basement. If you rapping in the basement, come to Greenhouse, and I got 3 free hours for you because you don't need to be in the basement.
So now, do you think that? So I heard this funny story. I don't know if this is true or not, but somebody told me this. Maybe true. Bryson Tiller he recorded, I think, one of his hit records in a bathroom. Did you hear about that? Is that accurate?
I think he might have recorded Exchange,
the one that went.
Yeah.
Right, in the bathroom. Yeah. So like, I mean, so was that more or less like you just got to have the right conditions, the right soundproof conditions, or can it be done in the back? Can it be? I mean, it can be done in the bathroom. It can be done in the basement.
Look at Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy was recording in his living room, right, or some shit like that. It's all about the mix. As long as you got an engineer that can turn it into something, and even, you know, like once a record goes, if it's hot, it's hot. It don't even got to be mixed good. You know, these records aren't mixed good. People don't even know what the fuck they listening to. Facts. As long as they moving, that's just what it is. I can't do it no more, but just make it work.
So now you have a full stack, full production house. You have a studio, right? How many rooms are in Greenhouse?
3 recording rooms, 1 podcast room. 4 rooms. 3 studios, 1 podcast room. And
you know, you now are able to garner the attention of a lot of different people, right? Artists at all phases of their career, right? Musicians at all phases of their career.
Yep.
I mean, and your former hoops background has brought you this network where you even have some NBA talent that falls through, right? If I'm mistaken, like KD pulled up.
Came through. Like, Kyrie came through. CJ Miles came through. Somebody else came through. A lot of college guys.
How do you feel about? Excuse me. How do you feel about like the idea of like, you know, someone being so public, right? Like an NBA player, but also making like music on the side. Like it's such like a duality, right? Because they say, you know, artists, the rappers want to be musicians, musicians want to be rappers, right? And then you got a guy like, what's the kid? Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges is full stack. You'll listen to some of his records and think that he don't even hoop.
I sent him beats before. That's hilarious.
Yo,
I really sent him some beats. Somebody texted me, he was like, yo, Miles needs some beats. And, all right. He all right too.
Yo, he all right.
He could spit.
He all right, yo. Like, it's just crazy. Like, his subject matter, like, you wouldn't think he was in the league the way
I seen bro on IG the other day with a cup of lean. Story going.
It just be violent.
And a blunt. He had the blunt and the lean in the story. I'm like, he gives no fucks.
No fucks.
No fucks, bro.
But I mean, granted, in my world of branding, we'll say that he's authentic. Right? He's a very authentic figure. So you can't be mad at that, right? So I mean, so you got these guys dropping in. Has someone like just lit the studio up? Like, did somebody come in and like put some shit down and you was like,
athlete?
Yeah.
No.
No.
No. CJ Miles is he's got bars though.
Bars, okay.
Yeah, CJ Miles has bars.
And he actually goes by Mas
Fresco.
Mas Fresco as his name. That's his artist name. Interesting. Dope. Shout out to CJ. I remember you brought me out and I was in the studio with CJ one time.
That's my brother, man.
That's lit, yo. Brother. So Greenhouse Studio is now up and functional. It's up and running. And you've built this from ground up. I'm talking about like nuts and bolts in the ground, like silver wire framing and everything. And like I was following along the process because when you started the Instagram page, you were posting like the build out. And you know, for me, I understand development, right? I understand like getting contractors. I understand going out and seeking these things. A lot of times people don't know the process of that.
Right.
And you mentioned you have like, you know, you have 3 recording rooms, you have a studio, you have other rooms. What was the process of like getting the team together, right? Because you mentioned before, you said you were doing a lot in your artist work alone, but like you can't build no studio. by yourself? Like, I mean, I don't know. Were you in there like painting walls? Were you in there doing everything? Like,
I was trying to do anything I possibly could to speed up the process because I built out also in the middle of a pandemic.
That's
like
nuts.
At the beginning of the pandemic.
That's nuts.
So, won't nobody have it harder than anybody who was doing it during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you trying to start a business or you trying to build a business, I did it at probably the most tough time.
I would say that, yes, it is the toughest time, but also it might have been the best time because I kind of don't even count 2020 as a year. It's weird, right? It's sort of like we went 2019, we jump into 2021. So anything that happened in 2020, when you experience it in 2021, you're like, damn, where the hell did this shit come from? Like, because nobody was really moving around.
Well, financially, I felt it.
Oh, I know you did. I know you did.
I was in the red. Ooh. I was in the red really bad.
Hey, man, care to share?
So, all right, let's start it. Keys to starting a business. The first thing is your credit. Gotta have good credit. There's ways that if you don't have credit, you can jump your credit. Buy a car. I don't know how easy that would be, but I'm just telling you what I did. I bought a car.
Mm-hmm.
My credit jumped. Find a cosigner.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who else has good credit. Get a loan. In my case, I was trying to find studio space. So find a property. This is all before all of that, also start your LLC.
Right.
Go to the bank, get a business card, put money on the card, build your personal credit, get a cosigner, find a property, find a what's the person that does the drawings?
Like an architect. Find
an architect.
Yeah.
Find an architect to do the drawings. Find a contractor that can follow through with the drawings that the architect draws. Where
were you finding the architects? Like, do you have figures that you were leaning on? Like, yo, I'm starting to make a studio. Like, yo, can you give me a number to an architect? Or were you like yellow pages it up and Google searching?
Yeah, you can Google, but in this under these circumstances, my dad knew somebody who knew an architect, and I love the guy, but I almost wish I would have went with somebody cheaper, or I would have known how expensive architectural drawings are, because it would have saved me a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So. Make sure you know who you're dealing with when you're dealing with contractors and architects, because contractors are expensive. They'll tell you what you need and you really don't need it. Architects will draw the most elaborate things just so they can make it look fancier, so they can charge you more.
Right.
So these are all things that you need to keep in mind. But you need an architect. You need a contractor. You may not need an architect. You may have a contractor that can do the drawings.
Mm-hmm. So now, were you savvy enough in knowing the build out?
I wasn't.
So you would tell them, like, yo, we don't need this type of material. We can use this material.
They was asking me questions that I didn't even know. I didn't even know terminology on some of these things. I didn't know the in depth. I didn't know that was a HVAC unit back there. I didn't know that was like. I didn't know what a duct unit was. I didn't know that the acoustics from the speakers would go into the HVAC and it would go from one room to the next. So I couldn't use an HVAC. I had to use in room
like circulation, ventilation, whatever.
Exactly. So a lot of my ignorance cost me a lot of money.
Yep.
And that's why it's important that I tell you these things, because you need to do your research. You need to do your due diligence on every part of everything when you're starting a business, because you need to save as much money as you possibly can. So your credit, get a cosigner if you can. And if you can't, a lot of people don't have good credit. A lot of people don't have somebody that trusts them enough to cosign on their stuff. So you got to do it the even harder way, which is save your money. Yeah. And no matter how long it takes, just save your money. Put a budget together for yourself for 2 years if you have to. Unfortunately for Black people, these are the things that we have to go through. We don't have the necessary outlets like other races to just be allocated funds or be given funds. So you got to do what you got to do, but don't stay stagnant, because you're not doing yourself any type of service, or the future. You're not doing nobody of the future any service. So, you just got to play ball, man. You got to save your bread, open up a bank account, a savings account that you can't touch. I personally have a bank account that I personally have a savings bank that isn't open on the weekends. I spend most of my money on the weekend.
Right.
So, and I can't get the money online. I have to go to the bank to get the bread. And I my mother purposely chose that bank for me because she knew as a kid I was a bad spender.
She knows your habits. Right?
Yeah. So, and now I live in Fort Lee. The bank is in Elizabeth. So if I really want the money, I got to drive from Fort Lee to Elizabeth just to go take the money out.
Right.
So, and I've had that account since a kid. So if you were, everybody's starting to have kids now, open up a bank account for your children young and put that money in there. These are all things that we should be doing. But those were the first key steps. I got a loan. I was approved for a loan because my credit was good. I had a cosigner, and that began the process.
So let's stay on the idea of a loan, because sometimes, I'm someone that I just know that like the bread ahead of me is going to be so long that like I don't like reoccurring debt.
Got you.
You feel what I'm saying? Like I think there's some people that walk with that same type of mentality. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna hustle, just stack up. I want everything cash. I want it liquid. I'll put it in the bank, whatever, so I can't touch it. But taking out a loan, and when that interest hit, there's something about it, right? Like, I mean, even we hear like sort of like that dark cloud on student loan debt, right? And we hear
that's a different type of loan debt.
It's different. It's not
business debt and student loan debt are two different type of monsters.
Yeah.
With business debt from a loan, the business is in debt, right? So if I take out a loan of $300,000 and I'm paying a monthly of $1,200, let's say, right? But I'm also putting myself on salary at that business, and the business is making $10,000 a month.
Right.
I'm still making money because
right.
I'm paying myself
back
as an
the
employee.
Loan. Yep.
I'm paying the loan. I'm not in debt. The business is in debt. And, like other businessmen, if I can't pay the loan, then I'm just gonna,
file bankruptcy.
File for bankruptcy, bro. I'm not doing anything different that people of other races have been doing for generations.
Talk it.
Stealing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or taking advantage of a system that
many times our culture just is not privy to.
Unaware.
Right.
So, ignorance is not what are they saying?
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss,
right.
and ignorance is not an excuse for being behind the ball. You got to learn these type of things. So,
yo, that's heavy. So now, when you opened up day one, Greenhouse Studios, was there just like artists beating down the door, like, yo, let me come record?
No.
So now, how did you get it from, okay, I have a studio now? Like Will Smith standing in the living room, like you're in the studio,
empty.
But now, like, you gotta create the momentum. You gotta let people know. So like, and also too, like, yeah, I'm sure you had your artistry friends and your artistry buzz around.
That's who I relied on.
Right.
I relied on all my connections. I relied on all the favors I ever did. And I basically just told people to their face, like, I called people like, yo, if you don't help me and I see you at another studio, you a sucker. Like, how you gonna go?
Energy.
How are you gonna go
energy.
To an, I'm sorry, I don't want to say any race, but how are you gonna go to somebody of another ethnicity and spend your money there, spend more money,
right,
than come to my studio where I'm either giving it to you for free just to be in my space, or I'm charging you 50% less.
Right.
You know what I'm
saying? For
saying?
better quality.
For the same quality. Not, long story short, if any of my friends was going to Quad Studio, if any of my friends was going to Penthouse Studio, if any of my friends was going to any of the studios in New York and I saw it on social media, I was in them comments like, yo, bro, that ain't it. Because that's not what I would be doing for you if you had a business that needed help.
Right.
And so I relied on my friends, and I held people accountable. Friendships are, my dad says friendships are essential to the soul, right? And you gotta also hold your friends accountable.
That's important.
And you gotta sit down with each of your friends, and you gotta tell them what you expect from them so that you can hold them accountable. If you don't tell somebody what you expect from them, you can't be mad at them. So I've always told all of my friends, like, yo, whatever you need, I got you. Whatever I need, I'm gonna lean on you for it.
Right.
And so I always held my friends accountable, and I leaned on them, and I needed them, and all of them came through.
That's a gem. This is good. That's it. Because accountability is something that's very lost. Mm-hmm. When you young, hustling, trying to get to it, many times people feel like they need permission. People feel like they need permission to support. Right? Like they need permission to support, and they will literally sit on the sideline and watch you trying to dig yourself this tunnel to abundance.
Nah, I need help.
I need help. Like I gave this metaphor in another podcast where it's like you'll be in the trenches digging this hole to freedom, and there's like a fence with a bunch of golden shovels lined up. Mm-hmm. And then on the other side, you got people that's behind the fence that's like, yo, keep digging, we see you. When you're just like, yo, grab a shovel and help me dig, bro.
Right.
Or sis, or whatever the case may be, whoever. So it's a whole lot of that, man. But man, kudos, commends to you, bro, and like what you're doing and like how you're doing it is inspiring. You know what I mean? Even for me to get this drop, to get this insight here, like this is what this platform is about, man. You're a Black idea guy. So now, like, how would you define yourself? How would you define, your involvement in being a Black idea guy? Like, how would you say, like, what does Black idea guy mean to you?
Black idea guy.
Like being a Black idea guy, what does that mean for you?
That means keep being innovative, keep thinking of ways to progress, keep thinking of ways to include my people, keep thinking of ways to be better, keep thinking of ways to putting on.
So now you're indie, you're independent. Mm-hmm. Would you get signed? Okay, let me ask you this. This is an interesting conversation. You have your own your own means of production, right? And when it comes to capitalism, when it comes to business, when it comes to entrepreneurship, when you control the means of production, like you really control the farm. You are the farm, right?
All the leverage.
You got all the leverage. So what does signing Jerry Green look like? Like what would that be like when you own the means of production now?
So I'm not opposed to signing a deal, but it would most definitely be a partnership. I'm not as pressed about deals anymore because I've been up in all these places. The same stories that everybody else has. Mm-hmm. When I was watching the Kanye documentary and I seen him go up in the labels and the way he was treated, it's no different than anybody else. I've walked in every label and been looked over.
Right.
Knowing that I had something inside of me that
you couldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah.
Right.
Not only that, but like I do good business. So it was like more so like a slap in my face that people weren't really trying hard enough to, and I can't be at fault. Maybe I could have done a better job of expressing or selling myself. Mm-hmm. But like it was a slap in my face every single time that people just they weren't really open to the fact that I'm more than even just music. Like how many people walking in these buildings can say that their business makes over six figures? You know what I'm saying? I'm a businessman.
Right.
When I'm walking in, I'm not just this is what an artist.
Talk it.
I am a businessman. I do business.
Yeah.
These people that walk in there don't even know what business is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So long story short, yes, I would sign with a label, but it would be a partnership, and they would understand who I am as an individual. They would understand who I am as an artist, and they would understand who I am as a businessman. And we would be talking about more than just selling records. We talking about stock. We talking about how you guys can have the whole label at my studio.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
how I can be, that I can cut the budget down for you. You guys are in the city paying these album budgets, and they up in there smoking weed and chilling and not even making records all day, and y'all blowing millions of dollars a year on studio time. You can not saying that I'm gonna sell myself short, but we can talk business.
There's leverage that you offer so much more.
I offer so much more. I have so much to offer. So it would be a partnership. And I have other artists that I want to sign. I have production that I can give to other people that don't work for me. Like I'm a production company. Greenhouse is a production company.
Now, when it comes to that, so I want to spin back, because everything that I'm hearing right now is definitely God. It's all God. It's like today is Sunday, Last week we was supposed to tape, full transparency, last week we was supposed to tape. We tried to have a time set, you know what I mean? But Jerry hit me. He's like, yo, man, I'm at church, bro. Yeah. I'm like, word.
My apologies too, man.
Nah, ain't no apologies, because you made me go back and I had to watch the YouTube my church. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get right. But would you ever go into do you produce gospel?
Absolutely. I've worked with Warren Campbell, the premier gospel producer. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You know Mary?
Yeah, what?
I've worked with Warren Campbell. It produced all their stuff.
Tough.
The Walls Group, I worked with the Walls Group, one of the best gospel groups out right now.
You just got way more excited talking about gospel than you got talking about hip hop R&B, bro.
Come on, man.
I just saw that, yo. I just saw the energy shift, yo.
Because that's what I come from. So it's just like, of course I would do gospel. I would love to. I was laying down in my bed, and this was really God. I was laying down in my bed, and I was writing a gospel song just last week. And I called my man Travis, who used to play the keys at my church. I'm like, yo, bro, I need you to help me arrange this. I've never written a gospel song, but this is what I hear. And we started working on a gospel record. So I'm like, yeah, of course.
What do you think about Sunday service?
I loved it.
Crazy.
But he took all the musicians from the gospel world. It was bound to be a success.
Bound to.
He knew exactly who to call. One of my other man's Trav, he plays the trumpet in the band.
Crazy.
He took all the best musicians from all around the world.
Who's a business? Who's like I guess obviously we were talking about Sunday service, Kanye West, right? But like who's a business mind that also makes music that you look to and it's like, yo, him and the ideas that they're casting are just out of this world, insane currently?
I think Kanye is a freaking monster.
Nuts. I knew he was gonna say yeah.
I think he's a monster.
The strategy, bro, is nuts.
Kanye
bro.
is a monster. The real play that I think is coming with the Donda Sports, the sports agency. He's so, man, the way he left Nike was kind of like really, really bad. But if he's gonna start a sports agency and he's gonna sign premier talent, he's already got Jaylen Brown, and he's probably gonna sign other talent. Yeah. He's bound to get a Nike guy.
Right.
And there goes the leverage with Nike all over again to get whatever he wanted, because he never wanted to leave Nike. He just wasn't getting what he wanted from Nike. So I think he's just building leverage in the sports world to do what he wants to do in the fashion world.
Yep.
And whatever else he wants to do.
What's next for the legacy of Greenhouse, Jerry Green?
Well, the legacy of Greenhouse is
it's still very. I'm saying legacy. It's very new. This is like growth. The growth of Greenhouse, right?
Well,
into the legacy.
The studio as a business would be to transition from being such an open studio. I started it to help people, because when I was going to Bad Boy and recording, or when I was going to Quad, I was paying a premium price. And so when I started it to help. But, as we transition, we got to elevate.
You have to elevate, absolutely.
We've been slowly but surely transitioning from a very public studio to a private studio. We've had some really, really high-end clients come through as of recent. And it really may be transitioning from a studio to a Motown type of situation, where it really becomes a production studio for just my artists and premier clients.
Do you foresee a Greenhouse South or Greenhouse West?
We definitely already talking about building a greenhouse in the city.
Okay.
Yeah, we just literally started talking about that last week.
Okay.
So a greenhouse in the city, not the club, a recording studio, because there was a greenhouse.
There was absolutely.
But a greenhouse recording studio in the city. The label, I'm looking to sign artists. I'm working on my project. And yeah.
Yeah, I got to tell people, you mistakenly sent me a track earlier this week. And I thought it was on purpose, but you should have just lied to me and been like, yo, I meant to send this to you, bro. You should just lie.
I have a friend from South Carolina. His name is Alan B.
Yeah.
And so y'all right
I said right below him in your message thread.
So I was moving because I was looking at a house that I'm about to buy and sell and flip.
Okay.
And he told me to send him the song because I had played it for him over FaceTime because I really trust his ear. I like how he sings. I like what he does, right? So I was playing it. He was like, yo, send it to me so I can hear it more clear. So as I was going into the house, I sent it to you. And you didn't respond because you hit me the next day.
I peeped it like.
And in my head, I was like, damn, Alan just told me to send him the song, but he never hit me back. And so then you text me and I was like, oh shit, I sent it to this Alan. So you told me you liked it. I was like, oh, well, it worked out. I'm glad you liked it.
Yo, I did. You know what I mean? I wish I could share the contents of what I heard, but hey, when the project dropped, I think people will be very much excited for it. So, yo, man, we reached the final lap of the exchange here on the Black Idea Got Pod, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, man.
Like
this
people,
was fun.
People don't realize, yo, you actually have a mixtape where I'm literally doing this.
The whole shit.
On your mixtape.
On the mixtape.
Like I'm literally in, I think on the mixtape I was Make Him Say Al. That was the character I was Make Him Say Al on the mixtape. It was me. It was
Saquon.
me and Saquon. And we were like MCing, we was DJ Drama on the mixtape basically, yo. So, yo.
You was born for this shit, bro. Like, you was really born for this shit. I'm glad you still doing this type of stuff. In addition to everything else you're doing.
Yeah. Yo, man. I mean, I think, along the journey, along your path, bro, I'm here. I'm literally like in your rear view, seeing everything going on. So I'm happy. I'm inspired thoroughly, yo. And I just want to continue to just keep inspiring others, yo.
That's our job.
This is our job. We have to. It's a duty, right?
There's only a few of us, Absolutely. I'm not going to call everybody's name, but, like when it comes to you, me, and only a few other people, it's only a few of us that really are like leaders in this shit that really feel like it's our obligation to get money, inspire, get money, and put on for everybody and put on for our cities.
Yep.
It's only a few of us.
And it's way big. It's way bigger than us, It's way bigger, right? Everything that you said today shows that you're not like, it's not for Jerry Green, right? Like greenhouse it's generational beyond this. So, hey man, we're gonna put it right here. Housekeeping. For everybody that's been watching the Black Idea Got podcast, we are opening up some new services through Outtime Agency. So I'm starting to do these like branding consultation calls. People can call me up, and I really have this long-term vision of creating a consulting agency where people that have expertise in different things can give this guidance to starting a business, right? Maybe your insight in studio production build outs, you can be one of the like external consultants on other people's build outs, right? You've done it, you have the insight, you currently own your own means of production. So I want to be able to, extend these different services. And of course, shout out to supporting DAP collectors. DAP, we're going to be doing some new things, getting into more wholesale supplying. And stay tuned.
Shout out to the guys behind the production and stuff. We appreciate you, man. This is amazing.
We got a team, yo. I'm trying to build a team. I'm just trying to continue to just elevate, right? G Luck, Latroy Watson. I'm about to call you Latroy Watkins. I know Latroy Watkins though. I do. I know Latroy Watkins. It's great. I know Latroy Watkins, but Latroy Watson, PR extraordinaire, production. Shout out to G Luck. You know what I'm saying? We be working out in the gym too. G be weak though in the morning. Trying to get G right. Yo, man, the episode's going to go live. Follow us, tag us, shout us out. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you,
GQ,
yes,
Jerry
sir. Green.
Check out Greenhouse and Lyndhurst, right?
Lyndhurst, New
Yo,
Jersey.
are y'all doing events? Y'all going to do some events soon? Like, just because I think people just need to go and experience it. Like y'all should do
make something.
Yo, listen, that's what it is. Like, we can do that.
Whatever you want to do.
Done deal. Well, it's the big show. Nate.